All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Michael Latimer. I have the distinct pleasure of serving as the president here at Canadian Western Agribition. And I just want to welcome you all to the 54th annual general meeting for Agribition. I just want to thank everybody who's joined us here today in person and those who will be viewing here online. So because we do have online voting, it is going to just slow up some of the voting as we get into it a little bit here, so just have to bear with me and be patient. It's the first time I've chaired a meeting where we have online voting and in-person voting. So when we get into the voting, if you hold your cards high, be very much appreciated. But anyway, I think we're getting late, so at 1:11, I'll call this meeting to order. Just ask that if you have cell phones, just make sure they're on silent. And then if you have to take a call, we all know that there's important business being done out there, so just step out of the room. This room, I think, is a little bit echoey, so if you're talking in the back, it'll just get loud, so just appreciate that. I just want to get into just announce or introducing I'll start with our executive, just our past president, Kim Hextall. Kim, if you could give a wave. Our vice president, Levi Jackson, if you could give a wave to everybody. Also, we have Kelsey Ashworth, if you can give a wave, and Courtney McDougall. Okay, thank you. So I just want to extend my appreciation for the executive that we've had the past year. I've enjoyed working with you. Oh, I got to learn to read, apparently, up here. But anyway, before I move on, Garth Newell. Just give a wave, Garth, who also serves on our executive committee for the past year. So thank you to all who have served on our executive past year. I've enjoyed the discussions and working forward with you on that. The next, I'm just going to introduce our elected directors. So if you could just give a wave or stand. First, we have Kelly Howe, Grant McClellan, Carl Sauter, Cynthia Beck, Mona Taylor, Glenn Lipsett, and Blake McMillan. Just thank you to you guys for serving on the board of directors this past year. And then we have appointed directors. Oh, you're not on my list, Christine. Okay, Christine Ewart-Hill. Okay, now let me just pause here. Who else have I forgot? I've already missed one executive, already missed one director. Okay, now, we're not quite done the directors yet. So also appointed, we have great relationship with our various levels of government. I think this goes back to the start of the show, as far as I'm aware. I just want to recognize Diana Empringham from the province of Saskatchewan. I don't know if Diana's here. Dana Hicks. Good to see you, Dana. And Chad Jedlick. I think they have a council meeting today, so I don't know if Chad is here for that one, but he'll be joining us later. So just want to recognize the contribution that our various levels of government give and allowing them to join us. And we're, at least in my time here, like we've had some very, very active discussions that a lot of it has been revolved around the knowledge and the expertise that our appointed directors have brought. So they're not just filling spots, they're actually contributing to the discussion, and that's invaluable. So just thank you to the directors, appointed, elected, and to the executive. Next, I just want to, I just get my list here, and now this is probably the one I'm most likely to miss somebody on, but just want to recognize the past presidents that we do have here in attendance today. So Audrey Horkoff, just give a wave. Bill Ollie, Bruce Holmquist, Brian Hadlin, Chris Lees, Gordon Stevenson, John Wilmot, Reed Andrew, and Shannon McCartan. So thank you for joining us here today, and also an appreciation for the work that and contribution to get us to where we are at today. And you know, we're at going on to show 54 coming up here, and it's not lost on us the work that has been done for that first 50 plus years of Agribition, and that's a lot what we can leverage off to do what we're doing today. So thank you to those presidents that are able here to join us today, and even the ones that aren't able to be here. Just appreciate the work that has been done in the past. Next, just want to, we talked a little bit about the webcast and the live stream. So we have IKS is here doing the webcast for us. Just want to recognize that they're providing that service for us. And then the next that we have, just want to make mention of some housekeeping items. Gordon Stevenson has offered to do or be our parliamentarian for today. So Gordon will keep us in line. And then resolutions will be handled by our past president, Kim Hextall. So thank you to Gordon and Kim for providing us with a little extra duties today. We can't do it without you guys, so that's very much appreciated. And then we have the voting. This is probably more for the people that are online. We do have data on the spot voting online, so you would have received an email or multiple emails just with those instructions. So if you're listening and you want to vote, check your email that you would have signed up for with your membership and just follow the instruction with that. It should be pretty self-explanatory. It is a different system than we had last year. We're just trying to speed up some of the process that we have here today. If there is any resolutions or questions, I don't know if we have a mic out in the crowd there, but we'll just ask for your name and then we'll have to speak clearly on that. But first order of business of the day is to approve the agenda as circulated. So if I could have a motion to do that. I got Bill Ollie made the motion. Do I have a seconder? Reed Andrew. Okay, any further discussion? Any amendments? Okay, seeing none, we'll just ask for the vote on to approve today's agenda. Okay, in the crowd, is there anybody opposed? And then the folks online, I know this is just to get the meeting started and it's the agenda, and you probably really want to wait for the elections before you start voting, but I would really encourage you to start voting now to make sure everything's working so that we don't get time crunched when we get later in the meeting. So before I declare this, we still got just voting in progress here. So, and I don't have enough jokes to stand up here and entertain you guys on this, so I'm not even gonna, well, I might try later, we'll see. But so we're just waiting for the online votes to come in. Maybe the next thing I'll ask, how many people do we have registered online? Do we know that? Just for the people in the room here?
I can find that out.
Sure, we'll get that information. Was there any opposed? Okay, so I'll declare the agenda approved. Second motion, just look for to approve the 2024 AGM minutes as circulated. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review those and they're correct. So if we could have maybe I'll give you a second to review those. 13 online? Okay. So there are 13 people voting online, just so that the folks in the room are aware. And I guess for those online too, so. Okay. Now I guess I'd ask for a motion or entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Okay, Kim Hextall. Do I have a seconder? Cynthia Beck. Bill, I was actually looking for you over there. I was going to get you on but you didn't have that up, so. Okay, so thank you. Any further discussion on the minutes? Okay, if not, I'll call the question. All in favor? Okay, so I guess the 13 folks voting online, if you could get that into us, and then we'll move on. It's a pretty quiet room out there. Like, maybe I should have had someone else come up and tell some jokes while we're waiting for this to come up, but I'm always worried that someone will record my jokes and then I'll be canceled or something and not allowed to continue on. Okay, we're good. So I'll declare that motion passed. So we got the agenda and the minutes are now passed. Next thing on the agenda here is the president's report. And I got notes on my notes here that just, yeah, this is kind of unplanned. So I just, a fair warning that I didn't write this down because I've been thinking about it quite a bit over the past couple weeks and kind of what I wanted to focus on here today. And I was able to go through what Sean's going to talk about a little later, so hopefully we don't overlap too much on that. But it's been a real pleasure and an honor to serve as the president of Agribition. And I think really when it got into that and you put your hand up and agree to the nomination a year ago when it got into that, you're really not sure what you're going to get into in that. And it is different being the president than it is as being vice president. Generally, even up when you're on the board, on the executive, coming up through, you're pushing for stuff, you're wanting to get things done, and then really once you become president, you look kind of at the people that you have there supporting you, and you trust what they're going to do, right? And I think we have a terrific board of directors. I've had and I'm going to actually go back on a little bit of that. The board of directors that I've had the pleasure to serve with, I think it's since 2015. I've really enjoyed the friendships that have come out of that. I've enjoyed the work. I've learned a lot in that time. But really, when you actually get handed to be or selected to be the president, it is a real honor. And it's not something to take lightly. And I think it maybe means more than even what I might have thought it would when we started into it. But it's been interesting, even as we have a lot of discussions, kind of around the board table and even the unofficial discussions that aren't around the board table that are maybe just as important at times. It's been a great 10 years, and I think when we're around the board, we're really looking a lot forward out. We're trying to look at the next year, 2 years, 10 years. What does this look like? And just take a little bit back of what we've come through in the past 10 years, which that's my time on the board. And I'm not to take anything away from what happened before that, because a lot of it I wasn't there, so I can't speak for that. But as far as Agribition goes, we've seen an era where we've had the discussion on getting funding for new buildings, right? If you go back 10 years, we had the old set of buildings, tarps on the roofs with hoses draining out of them. And we were really concerned for what the future of the show was at that point. Through the work of the board and the staff, and some faith from the government, the folks at REAL, we have new buildings. And then in that time, we even had if everybody remembers, the year where we had half-built buildings trying to produce a show, and some of the challenges around that, which, certainly aren't easy when you're not sure if you're going to have access to stuff, if the water is going to work. So we weathered that, got our new buildings, and they're terrific, but they're different, right? And there's different, you learn kind of as you go on some of that. And then of course, it's been now 5 years since we had COVID. And leading up to that, who would have ever thought of what it was going to be like to cancel the show? What possible circumstance would there ever be that we wouldn't have an Agribition? So when we're talking contingency plans and whatever happened, you say, well, that'll never happen. Well, it did happen. And I want to thank the leadership of the board and the staff through that era that I think Agribition weathered that storm probably as good as any event. We made the decision pretty quick to, I guess, cancel the show before we had too many expenses incurred. Really got to give a shout out to the staff in that time too, because they, like everybody else, we had to go home and sit at home, and we made the decision that we wanted to not let any staff go, but the staff had to make some adjustments too, and they had to make some changes in how they did things, so they need to be recognized for that. So we weathered COVID, I think, very well. And then we come out of that, and then we had inflation, right? We've seen rapid price increases on a lot of, just the production of the show has got more expensive. So when we get into the audited statements, you'll see that does affect us at times. So, but we're also trying to maintain to keep things affordable for people as well. So there is a balance in there, but we weathered that quite well. And then now we're looking at, depends what time of day it is, I don't know what's happening south of the border. Maybe everybody can shout out an update. Last I saw was some pause on some of the stuff, so everything is all good again today. But I think as far as Agribition goes, obviously we don't export stuff to the globally. We produce an event, but it really affects our exhibitors, our people that come to the show, whether they're attendees, volunteers, trade show exhibitors, well, cattle people, because they'll be impacted by different prices too. So there's a lot of unknowns that we're going to see here in planning for this year's show again. And I have no doubt that we're going to be prepared and monitor that and weather that storm as well. And that comes from, I guess, the faith of this membership, the work of the board of directors. But really, when we get looking at some of this, I think it's important, you know, as a membership, but even as a board of directors, and now that we're really past the first, well, we're a little over 50 years of the show now, is trying to take a little bit longer lens look at the show. We know it's going to be produced this year, you know, so why don't we look at a little bit further out? So I encourage you guys, as when we're looking at some of this, like planning and looking at that, we need to focus on today for sure, but also let's have a little bit further lens out. Like, let's start planning, what does the show look like? Not this fall show, but next year's show. And just a little bit more strategic look on where we position ourselves, because Agribition has grown. We've increased revenues, we've kept up with all that, but it's still, their expenses seem to keep following us along. But so there's some challenges there, but trying to look at what is Agribition going to be for the next 10 years. So I think there's been some stuff put in place, and we have quite a few of the Agribition Community Foundation Board of Directors here with us today, and they're having their meeting following ours, so please stay around for that. But I've said it a few times, and when we get 10 years out from this, the establishment of that foundation and trying to ingrain ourselves in the community, maybe, I'm not going to say better, but just different than maybe what we've done in the past, maybe a little bit more year-round, that's going to be a big deal. So that's just one thing that we're, you know, looking at, like trying to like look a little further down the road, and I think it's pretty key. So when we get in, just like, trying to make sure that we have, you know, the 75th show and the 100th year show, just trying to be proactive on that. And I think I think we're in the right mindset to do it. We just need to put that in place. And a lot of that starts with the faith of the membership, that we're going to do the right things as the board. I think coming up here too, and I'll end this here pretty soon, but we're coming into a different era on the board where we don't have the ties back to the first show anymore, right? Like the board of directors that are there now, I should have maybe got this count earlier, but like, well, maybe Levi, I should ask you, like, how far back on the shows, like what was your first show that you were at? Because you'd probably be the longest standing member, like to have those ties back. So as Doran, I'm not going to call you out and make you answer that, but really making sure that we respect the past, because what we do going forward is built on the shoulders of what was done in the past. So when we talk about the past presidents that are here, you know, that group, and they maybe represent the boards that they served with, and that, like, anything that we do going forward, like, is standing on the shoulders of the people that came before us, you know, and that legacy won't be lost. At least I hope it doesn't, because I think it's pretty key, right? That we have a great first 50 years and want to have another great 50, and we can't do what we're going to do going forward without the work that had been done in the past. And I think the boards and the staff and the volunteers and the exhibitors and really anybody that had pretty much anything to do with Agribition deserves a round of applause, because I think we're in a great position, and I think we played a lot of our cards right that we were dealt, and really look forward to seeing where this goes. And you know, I have a lot of faith in the board of directors. I have lots of faith in the membership. I have lots of faith in the staff. I don't want to leave them out of that discussion as well. And I think we're in a great position, but we just need to make sure that our pencils are sharp, that we make the right decisions, and just keep pushing forward as hard as we can. Because I think Agribition's in a great spot, but I think there's room to grow it and just keep improving it. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be a blip in the process and the history of Agribition, and yeah, I just wanted to recognize the effort that has been come before me on that. But so with that, that'll be my president's report. Certainly happy to have discussions later today with everybody. We've got the volunteer appreciation night here tonight. Hopefully everybody will be able to stay around for that. We don't have a blizzard this year, so that's a bonus. We've had 3 consecutive blizzards, so I know that part is great. So with that's my report. So. So just for the record, I didn't pause waiting for an applause. I actually paused so that I could try and get my glasses focused to see what was coming up next year. But I just want to welcome our CEO, Sean Kindop, up here to give the CEO report.
Thanks, Michael. Sorry for the delay, guys. Dramatic pause. I want to walk you through 2024 quick. As Michael said, there's a lot of exciting things.
Levi, you might have to give him a hand.
Not sure why the background's not showing up. There's supposed to be an Agribition logo. That's a blue background, so I'm not sure what's happening. But 2024 started off really good. You know, we went to Mexico, had some great conversations with Rafa Ramirez, who I'm assuming a lot of you in this room know. He's built the show down in Mexico off of Agribition, which is really cool to see. They even call it Mexibition down there, or Little Agribition, which is awesome. We just recently returned from there again this year. Agribition is front and center, which is incredible. A lot of the meetings that we have are people that have come to Agribition. They're bringing their kids. They haven't came because they had visa problems, but they've definitely heard about it and are very excited. So that was our first MOU signing last year in March, which was awesome. After that, we went to Australia May 5th to the 11th to meet with the folks down in Beef Australia. Their event happens every 3 years. Again, great conversations down there. We also signed an MOU with that organization. So again, last year we had 2 MOUs in 2 countries before we even hit June, which was awesome. We were the only group from Canada down there, which was Agribition represented. So Kim and Michael both joined us down there, along with Dennis Laycraft from CCA. They treated us phenomenal. We were meeting with all of their dignitaries. Again, just in terms of true collaboration has been very exciting, as they've already got a delegation coming to Agribition for 2025. Their CEO and board chair came to our event last year. Love it. Unfortunately, we got to give out a shout out to Simon, who had never seen ice before and slipped coming out of the Hotel Sask and broke his shoulder. Again, he's got a nice war wound, but again, loved it and didn't miss very much of the show. Came back in a sling, ready to go. Last year, as we looked at our strat plan, we wanted to do a lot more year-round partnerships. As Michael said, again, expenses are getting up, so we're looking for different revenue-generating opportunities throughout the year. One of the things we wanted to do was get into a lot of youth education, again, more year-round. So last year we had 75 kids and 98 head represented for its inaugural year, which was super exciting. I know this was a big passion project for Kylie and the team. This year, we've already got 65 head and 12 brand new exhibitors for the event that's going to be happening May 31st. The event was so successful, we've got a title partner who came in this year for our 2025 event. Babco Meats has been outstanding and been a true partner of Agribition, believing in what we're doing. Keeping up with the year-round partnerships, again, we had our golf tournament last year, which sold out for a 2nd consecutive year. It's been a great event for us. We've got industry represented, we've got our business community also represented, and we're almost 3/4 sold out for this year's event already, which is, it's becoming to be the talked about golf tournament that's happening, which is awesome. One thing that we talked about last year is, again, since I've been in the organization, as things continue to grow, we've always referenced the marketing position as too much for 1 people, almost not enough for 2. This year, it's proven to be more than enough for 2. Last year, we switched it up from having a journalism intern to having a graphic design intern from SAS Polytech, which gave us Chloe, who was, again, she did phenomenal work. And in terms of looking at the things that we're doing and the money that we're spending with different organizations, we actually retained Chloe, which, and when you look at the stats from last year, our clicks grew by 305% of people engaging with our post and clicking, whether that's on our hashtags, pictures, links, etc. And Facebook's our definitely heavily followed page, so we grew our followers by 10%. Twitter, which is now X, we've kind of gotten away from a little bit just due to where your ads and stuff pop up. But our Instagram, our reach grew by 395% to 295,000, and our overall social media impressions grew by 275% to 6 million people, with a reach of 1.2 million people, which again is the entire province of Saskatchewan, which is pretty cool. Having that dedicated focus, allowing them to be a little bit more strategic and less just transactional, has really been paying off, which I think is also translating into some of our, the growth in attendance and just brand reach of Agribition. Our LinkedIn followers grew by 35%, so we're in the thousands now, which is exciting. This is the best picture I could find with just pure full. Last year was so exciting, the buzz that we had, even on Friday and Saturday, we had over 32,000 people through the gate scanned in before we even got talking about rodeo. So we set an official Agribition record of 145,663 people, which again is phenomenal. The buzz and the feel and the momentum that we've created over the last couple of years since coming out of the pandemic is just something we're very proud of. It's translating into sponsorship, it's translating into trade show, it's translating into our rodeo. As we meet with our officials and our sponsors, just the buzz and the pure love and recognition for what Agribition is continuing to do after 54 years is unmatched. As we talk about, again, just positivity, we sat here last year, we talked about the foundation, the partnership that we're going to have with our foundation, and how proud we are of the legacy that's going to leave for years to come. I got to give a shout out to the foundation. I think they're all sitting at the back there. But now that you guys, our people are buying 50/50 tickets, which is going back to our foundation, which allows us to do things into the community and to give back. Through the foundation and through the food bank, our foundation was able to give 102,000 meals to youth, which is, I think, that's something that definitely needs to be celebrated, especially when food is, insecurities is such a big topic at the moment. So definitely proud of them for that. Looking into 2025, and again, the font and the blue background didn't show up. We started 2025 off with a bang. We were the only organization through the Regina Chamber at our Paragon Awards this year that was up for 2 awards. We were up for the Marketing and Promotional Achievement Award as well as Business of the Year, which, as we applied, there was a Small Business of the Year, which was under 25 people, and a Large Business of the Year, which was obviously over that. They combined the 2 awards, so we were overall Business of the Year finalist for, again, all of the Regina businesses that had applied, with us winning the Marketing and Promotional Achievement Award. So again, as we've grown that marketing team, it's definitely, again, we've got tangible results, not just on the percentages with our social medias and our advertising. So again, shout out to that team. One thing that we've talked about is how do we continue to evolve and how do we get better? What we don't want to do is take things for granted and say that we're the best show and we don't need to change. Our exhibitors are the true backbone of who we are. So we want to make sure that we're listening to those people. This year we did a survey. We wanted to know about your tie-out space. We wanted to know about your space in the barns. We wanted to know about how your move-in was, how your exit was, and all the things with Agribition. So we got some pretty candid feedback, both good and bad. We took that feedback, listen to what people are saying, because we wanted to not just take the feedback, delete it, and not do anything with it. We've then now created a focus group as more of an advisory committee on Agribition to float some different ideas by, which has been very successful. Again, we want to make sure our space is limited, so we've got barns are full, we've got trade show full. Things are really good, but if we can help and increase the visitor experience for our exhibitors, I know it's long and I know it's expensive, so we're listening. We've been told that space can be at a premium, that you're not having enough, or you're having. Some did say they had too much, but that wasn't in the majority. So we want to make sure that, again, we're making changes, letting our exhibitors know that they have been heard to continue to make that experience better for them. And again, I know that all of you have looked through the through the book at the moment. And I know that we've been talking about expenses rising. Fairs and Major Events Canada has said that it now costs 30 to 40% more to put on a comparable sized event than it did in 2019, which is something we're hearing about. I need to give the team credit. As you know, we've set sponsorship records the last couple of years. Our trade show sold out this year for the first time since the ITC was built. We've had 3 straight years of record rodeo attendance. Like, the revenue side we're very good on, but again, being a 6-day event in November, it's everybody's expenses are going up, which is something that we felt. I think our team's done a phenomenal job of keeping up with that revenue. As we talk and as we're being strategic, now's the time for us, which I want to give some positivity. As you know, Real's been in the news recently with a lot of change. We've had some great conversations with them. We're looking at exploring how we revamp our lease and different things about moving forward as partnerships. And just how we are able to look at our finances, again, looking at all of the things from year end to where does that need to be positioned to give us the best opportunity to have, truly accurate financials, get a good audit done, get our year end complete, get a good budget presented. So I'm very excited for this, for where we're at. The conversations we're having now, I've been waiting a long time to have. So just again, as the membership who's very passionate about this organization, just from my seat, I just want to reiterate that we're in good shape. I also want to be standing up here saying that dollar, the amount that everybody's looked at in our annual general, our folder is higher. That's my commitment. I don't want to say that I'm not completely happy with that. I want to acknowledge that, and I want that number to get bigger. We've had some great conversations, and I'm very excited for where we're going. We've got a plan. We've recognized some of the pain points, and I'm very excited for this next year moving forward. Some good things, though, that I do want to say that are coming this year that I wanted to announce to you guys is we do have an app. Again, it is, the University of Saskatchewan's come on for us, which is very exciting. We now have the opportunity in that for both of our livestock exhibitors and our trade show exhibitors to be able to have wayfinding. So if someone's looking to find Chris hiding in a wash rack, they can type that in and get directions to that, or they can try and find where certain vendors are and whatnot, which is, again, just trying to modernize it, but it also allows us now to drive revenue off of things that just used to be a pure expense for us. Where our trade show systems were housed and whatnot, we can now drive revenue from that, which is, again, something we're very, very excited about. Now I just want to introduce you to the team, just the people behind the scenes on my side that truly make this happen. So if you guys can wave. Kristen, Joel Pickering, again, they'll all be at the back, so they're all waving at you. Kylie Beck, Carrie Hackle, Shauna Fuchs, Brianna Franklin, Shaylin Haylock, Sherry Germain, Chloe Keeler, and Kaya Simpson. So again, I just want to thank you guys for all that you do. I know that, again, there's long hours, there's passion behind each and every one of you, so I just, again, definitely proud to be a part of the team with you guys. And next, again, I want to thank the current board of directors for everything. I know you guys got my back when we have some crazy ideas going. So again, I'm really proud of last year. I think that, as Michael talked about, I think that we've got some really good momentum and a really good plan moving forward. Things I'm excited about. So again, I just want to thank you guys for everything. And again, appreciate you being in my corner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sean, and thank you to the work that you and your team have put in over the past year and beyond that. So the next thing I just want to mention too is that we have all the voting members have been verified, just so that everybody's aware of that. I think that was one of the legal requirements that I said when I come up here, so now I'm off the hook, which is perfect. Next, I'm going to introduce Kim Hextall to come up here, and well, I don't want to spoil you. If I say it, then I don't want to spoil your... She's coming up here and she'll let you know what she's doing.
Yeah, this is a really big surprise for everyone. First call for resolutions.
I think she even knew that she was going to have to walk up here 3 times too and do that. So thank you, Kim, for agreeing to do that. And yeah, if there's any resolutions, they can be... I guess handed in writing to Kim. She's just down up here at the front with Gordon. So Next, I'd just like to move on to our financial report. And it's more just the auditor report, right? Okay. It's actually the auditor's report. So I'd just like to introduce Christy DePaula from Meyer Norris Penny to come present our audited financial statements. So Christy, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. The exciting portion of the afternoon has come. Starting on, and I'm not going to go through every single page, I promise. Starting on page, 35, that kind of starts the audited financial statements. So pages 35 and 36 are the auditor's report. So we're engaged by the membership to audit the financial statements of Canadian Western Agribition, ensuring that the statements as presented are in accordance with the accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations. So the first section of the first page is the opinion section. So it is a clean, unmodified, or unqualified audit opinion, which indicates that the statements do indeed present fairly in all material respects. So if you flip the page 37, you've got your statement of financial position or your balance sheet for all you business owners. So this is a snapshot in time of where the organization is at the end of business on January 31st, 2025. Then you've got your 2024 comparative figures. So when you're kind of looking year over year, okay, what's changed? How do things look? How are we doing? So overall, your total assets, they are down slightly, about $60,000 year over year. This is largely due to the amortization on your capital assets. We do see some fluctuations in AR, and that's just due to better collections, more timely collections of those receivables before year end. So you do see a corresponding increase on that cash balance. Liabilities, they're also down about $50,000. The most significant change on the liability side is that bank indebtedness is now in a cash positive position. You're seeing it in an asset. So what's partially offsetting that decrease in the bank indebtedness? You got an increase in the payables. The bulk of that $400,000 payable balance does relate to the amounts owing to Real, and that's just timing on when they're able to do those final negotiations on the 2024 show. So those will be paid out shortly. If you flip to the next page, you've got your statement of operations or your income statement. Same story, 2025 revenues and expenses with the 2024 comparative figures. I think you've heard this a few times today. The big story is a ton of growth for Agribition again in 2025. Total revenues up by $1.8 million. You're seeing increases across the board, increased attendance, participation, sponsorships, new business partners, all driving the increases for the 2024 show. There are also some great progress in applying for and being approved for new grants this year. So the increase in the grants alone makes up about $300,000 of the total revenue increases. On the expense side, not surprising, we are seeing increases to the expenses. Continued inflationary pressures continue to impact Canadian Western Agribition, already noted by Michael and Sean. As well, you're seeing increased costs when you have that increased participation and attendance. There were some staffing increases this year, both on the permanent side as well as the temporary staff, and that's just keeping up with the significant workload that the show continues to bring year after year, in addition to adding more contractors. Also tied, you're not going to see it specifically on the expense side, when you see an increase in the grant revenue, oftentimes you've got restrictions on that grant funding. You have to spend it on certain programs, certain areas within the show. So you are seeing a corresponding increase on the expenses just to make sure that you're spending that grant funding as it's required. So when all is said and done, current year deficiency of revenue or over expenses, so a net loss of about $13,000, which is an improvement over 2024, which had a net loss of $30,000. The next few pages are you've got your cash flow, which gives you a good snapshot on what happened with the cash, where did the cash go during the year. So you can see just great revenue generated with your general operations. And then following that, you've got the notes to the financial statements. I will spend zero time going through those notes, unless, of course, there's any questions. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Christy. I guess, is there any questions on those audited financial statements? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Christy. Now we'll look for a motion to approve the auditor's report. Courtney McDougall. Do we have a seconder? Graham McLellan. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Okay, thank you. I didn't see any opposed in the crowd, so but I guess we're waiting for the online voting, I guess, at this point, so we'll just give that a second to come in. I think we need like the Jeopardy music playing here to see how this goes. Okay, we're good. So I'll declare that carried. The next motion is an appointment of auditors for 2024-2025 year. So a motion to approve Meyer Norris Penny LLP as the auditors for 2024-2025. So Blake McMillan and then Garth Newell as the seconder. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, any opposed? Well, you're lucky, Christy, there's nobody opposed, so we'll just wait to see what online comes in with here, so. Oh, okay. Okay, we're all good. So I'll declare that approved as well. Next, I'll just ask Kim Hextall to come back up here, and I have no idea what she wants to talk about. This is going to be a big surprise for everybody, but I don't want to spoil it. So.
Okay, this is the second call for resolutions, and if anyone has anything that they want brought forward as a resolution, if you can do it, just tap me on the shoulder, come find me during the break.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, we're going to have a break for 15 minutes. I'm going to time it. I'll give you a 2-minute warning. When we come back, we'll have the third call for resolutions. Oh, Kim, I just ruined your surprise for the third call, but apologize for that. Then we'll get into our director nominations, or the director elections. So we got 15 minutes. Yep, mingle, and we'll be back here shortly. Okay, we're going to get the meeting back underway again here, so if everybody could take their seats. So I'll call Kim Hextall back up to the stage for the big reveal announcement here that is of big surprise, or maybe not.
Okay, this is the third and final call for resolutions. Not seeing anyone wave, we have no resolutions for the AGM.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Okay, the next item on our agenda is our director elections. We have 5 seats open for the 2025-2026 Board of Directors, and we've received 6 nominations for those seats, so there will be an election. We've verified that all the nominations are indeed members in good standing, they were received on time, and that they were also nominated by members in good standing. So those nominated for election this year are not, I'm just going to go through my list. So this will actually be the order that they'll come up and present and give their nomination speech as well. So we'll have Kelly Howe, which was nominated by Courtney McDougall. We have Courtney McDougall, that was nominated by Shannon McArden. We have Grant McClellan, that was nominated by Grant Zelenko. We have Carl Sauter, who was nominated by Levi Jackson. We have Blake McMillan, that was nominated by Stuart Stone. And we have Ian McNaughton, that was nominated by Chris Lees. So each of the nominees will have 3 minutes to make their presentation. And I'll, I guess, be the person in charge of timing that. So I'll let them know when their time is up. So with that, I will call Kelly Howe to the stage. Well, welcome, Kelly. Sure, if you want.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here today or online, and for your commitment to the future of Agribition. My name is Kelly Howe, for those of you that don't know me, and we're myself and my wife, Julianne, and our 3 kids, Matthew, Elise, and Avery. We operate Howe Cooley Charolais, running about 150 purebred Charolais and Red Angus cows just south of Moose Jaw. We also run and operate Bar Over HC Livestock, which is a livestock nutrition and consulting company with various contracts in the agriculture industry. As well, we operate an apiary, where I always joke, my wife's the brains and I'm the brawn behind that operation. So where we basically process and harvest local honey, and we're running into 7 different retail locations in and around the Moose Jaw area. We are very involved in the agriculture industry. 4-H is very important to us, and where my wife leads our local 4-H club, and I'm also a leader as well. There's 2. We also run and organize a local junior show, Claybank Bricks and Beef, where generally speaking, we get about 30 to 50 young juniors coming the 3rd weekend in October, and actually proceeds coming out of that go back to the juniors, as well as go to support the Claybank brick plant as far as rejuvenation and projects on that end. As well, I'm currently the chair of the Friends of the Canadian Charolais Foundation, We're in the 4th year and building that foundation. So, to have the Agribition Foundation clear and present, see the job that those individuals are doing is very good to see, and it's very important. And I commend that group with what we're doing on the Agribition side. My experience at Agribition is very extensive. My family's basically been exhibiting at Agribition every year except for 2. I've also been a volunteer for 23 years. It was basically in 2001, basically Shirley Rosso approached me about saying we need more youth in committees and volunteers at Agribition. And since then, I've been hooked. I started with the 4-H and Youth Committee in 2001. And then basically in 2015, I took on a position as barn boss at CWA. Basically in 2023 is when I was approached by several people and I chose to run for the board. And on the board, I've chaired the Junior Beef Committee, where we formed a full-fledged committee, further developed our youth programming, and we added the Junior Beef Open Division as well in 2023, where we've seen our numbers grow from about 150 entries to well over 200 entries. In 2024, that same committee, and I'm very proud of what that committee has done, we brought back the Junior Prospect Steer Show, and where we have over 30 entries and huge potential for growth. Over the past 2 years as a board member, I've really enjoyed my time at CWA. I have made sure to take the time to experience more aspects of Agribition. And I feel it's very important at that point to have the proper discussions at the end of the day. I'm getting dinged here, so I'll leave it at that. But Agribition is very important to me and my family, and it's why I'm rerunning today, and I would like your support here today. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Next, I'll invite Courtney McDougall to come up.
I gotta adjust. Can everyone hear me? Not great with mics. Good day. First, I'd like to thank Shannon McGarten for nominating me. Good afternoon, Agribition family, stakeholders, staff, fellow directors, and guests in the room and online. My name's Courtney McDougall. I'm honored to stand before you to seek re-election to the Agribition Board of Directors. Who am I? I'm a really proud single mom of 2 incredible teenagers. I'm a farm her who was born and raised on City View Ranch just north of Regina, Saskatchewan, where my parents own and operate to this day. I'm a passionate and dedicated purebred sheep producer and have been for 32 years and run a flock of 40 purebred North Country Cheviot ewes. I work off the farm as a boss line technical specialist at the BHP Jansen mine in Jansen, Saskatchewan. I have attended Agribition every year of my life. I've exhibited for 36 years, volunteered for 22. I was on the grounds crew for 2 years, and I've been on the board for 12 years. In that time, since 2013, I have chaired 9 committees and had the privilege of being a member on the committee serving and working alongside the passionate and dedicated volunteers, exhibitors, and families that uphold and grow the legacy of Agribition. From a young age, I was taught by my parents to start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. My parents led by example and instilled a passion in us to get involved and serve others in our community, because at the end of the day, richness in life is not found in what you have, but what you have to give. So my whys for re-election, you, the stakeholders, ensuring accountability, transparency, and advocating on your behalf to bring your questions, suggestions, and ideas. I believe in preserving the traditions and history that makes Agribition legacy so rich, while also continuing to enhance the innovation to grow and ensure the longevity of Agribition for future generations. Agribition bridges the gap of our growing society that no longer has firsthand connection to the family farm or agriculture. And so it is pivotal, because agriculture is our backbone of our communities. It's the lifeblood of our economy, and it is key to our future. The other reason, my kids. I've learned values of resilience, passion, adaptability, and hard work, all qualities that every aspect of my life I bring. And so for the 2 sets of eyes that watch me day in, day out, I lead by example. to show them that they can share and enrich the lives of themselves and others by giving. In doing so, we build a community that connects us all in profound ways to humanity. Finally, myself, a single mom, there are a few things I do for myself, but not many. Fulfillment and refuels and rejuvenates me giving back to you, our stakeholders, Agribition, and our industry. I'd be honored to be elected and greatly appreciate your support today to continue to serve on your behalf. Thank you. I also ignored the ding there, Cal.
Thank you, Courtney. Next, I'll invite Grant McClellan to come up and present.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I just wanted to say big thanks to Grant Zelenko for nominating me, but I'll note he's not here, so I guess, I don't know, take that as you may. But I'm just excited to be here today to ask you for your support to serve another 2-year term on the Agribition Board of Directors. I've had the joy and pleasure working with many of you, and together I think that over the last 2 years I've seen how much work goes into this organization and the true volunteer spirit that embodies Agribition, showing how this show has grown and thrived over the past number of years as a result of that type of work. I live here in Regina with my wife and son. We're adding another one in the summer here, but we don't know any more details than that at this point. But proud to have grown up on a small farm in the town of Holdfast, just north of town here. And so this is really something, Agribition's been something near and dear to my heart. I've been attending nearly every year since I was in my early years. And it's been a real treat and a real pleasure to have the opportunity to serve on this board. And really, some of the value and skill set that I think that I have the opportunity to bring and would like to continue to bring to this board is my background and history, working 10 years with the provincial government, including serving as Chief of Staff to the Minister of Agriculture and Chief of Staff to the Minister of Trade and Export Development. Bringing those relationships along and bringing that value hopefully to the board. Also, most recently, I served as the CEO of the Saskatchewan Cattle Association for 2.5 years, and so building on those relationships in the industry and the beef cattle sector here in this province, as we know that Agribition is much more than a beef show, but at its heart, it is still one of the most important aspects of this show is the beef cattle sector here in Saskatchewan and Western Canada. I have had the opportunity to serve as chair of a number of committees, including most recently as chair of the International Committee and chair of the Governance Committee. I'm very pleased to work with a very strong team on both of those committees, and the International Committee is something we can be very proud of, with over 1,200 guests from over 68 countries around the world attending the show last year. And that really brings us an opportunity to expand the business aspect of this show, selling more than just under $500,000 worth of genetics from our show alone. So it's really something that, especially in these times, challenging times and unpredictable times, that we have a show that is committed to the business success of our industry here in Canada. Just in closing, I just want to say that my commitment to this board will be continuing to help it grow and innovate, while at the same time recognizing the hard work and values that have brought this show and the members in the past. So I just ask you for 2 more years. Thanks so much for your support.
Okay, thank you, Grant. Next, I'll invite Carl Sauter to join us up here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carl Sauter. I'm a business owner, boots on the ground, farmer, rancher, operator, Bridgeway Livestock, with my wife and daughter by Wota, Saskatchewan. People call me a busy person, but I always make time for Agribition and answer the call over the years. If needed, equipment, cattle entries, barn boss, volunteer, whatever I've been asked of, I've always stepped up. I appreciate the opportunity for a second term on the board. 2 years is a short while on the board. First year, you find your feet. The second, you find the best place to put them. If re-elected, I hope to dig in and be even more valuable than the past with that experience of the 2 years under me and with my feet under me now. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Carl. Next, I'll invite Blake McMillan to join us up front here.
You got the timer going? Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Really thankful even for all of those of you that have made it today, and those of you that are listening online. Shows your commitment to bringing Agribition ahead even after all these years. So thank you for all that have attended. And thank you to my fellow board members that have had the chance to serve with these last 2 years. It's been a really good 2 years, and some brand new faces that I've met in the last 2 years, and appreciated the opportunity to build those relationships. Also want to just thank Stuart Stone. Stuart's not able to be here today, but Stuart nominated me to run again. Stuart obviously is a past president here, and someone that I've respected and looked up to some of the things he was able to do for the Agribition board in the past. A little bit for those of you that don't know me, my wife and I have a small family farm just southeast of Nokomis. We raise some commercial Red Angus Simmental cattle, and my day job is to work at Blair's Crop Solutions in Nokomis, where I manage the retail location there. So we're selling fertilizer, seed, all those things. I think obviously my position there has allowed me to interact with a lot of people in a lot of different environments, and it also allows me to sit in the position as an exhibitor at Agribition, not just on the cattle side, but as an exhibitor from the trade show side, and so we see things from a little bit different perspective. My role at Agribition, I've had the chance to serve. I was actually trying to count the committees before I come up here, but most of the beef committees and the international committee, the governance committee, the audit committee, a pretty long list of them. I'm not sure that I've even counted them all, but I've had pretty extensive experience on the board, including sitting for a number of years on the executive. Also had the privilege of being on the board when we were working through the process of building those new buildings, and being involved in that. It was a great experience for me to figure out how to work with the players that needed to be worked with, and I think that's still a pretty big success story that building ever got off the ground, and we're pretty thankful to have it today. So I'm asking for your support for another 2 years to sit on the board, and my passion is strongly in the beef cattle side of it, but I also am able to bring some understanding and knowledge on the finance side of it and on the relationship side of it, and I hope that can continue to serve this board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Blake. Next, I'd like to invite Ian McNaughton to join us up front here.
I'm just kidding. I was just distracting you, so my 3 minutes is longer. So my name is Ian McNaughton. I apologize for the really bright picture that's up there. I want to thank Chris Lees for the nomination, and Levi, he said to me not too long ago, he said, Ian, I don't know how you're going to get that 20 minutes down to 3, but you're going to have to figure it out. So I will tell you that I grew up on a 200 cow-calf operation. It's in Ontario. We had Hereford and Angus cows, and we had limo bulls. So if anyone has any fencing questions, I learned how to fence early, and I learned how to jump over them. So I'm here if you guys have any questions. Fast forward to, I was a graduate of University of Guelph as an Aggie in agribusiness. I then went to work for Beef Improvement Ontario after university. All the while, our farm was not an option for me as a career, so I applied to the RCMP and was accepted, and I was waiting for my call to come train here in Regina. Fortunes changed. I was offered a 3-month contract at Mitel Semiconductor, and my career took a left-hand turn. So for the next 15 years, I worked in executive positions and management positions all over the world for Advanced Micro Devices. All the while, ag was always, that was my place. That was my happy place. Those were my like-minded people, and that's where we always wanted to get back to. So my wife Tara and I and our 4 kids, as soon as we had the opportunity, we brought them back to ag, and we raise our kids on 2 farms just north of Barrie. We run Polled Herefords, and my day job is we operate 3 home hardwares. They're national award-winning home hardwares, and that's what pays for farming, and it gives us the opportunity to raise our kids in agriculture. Why am I standing here? And that's a good question. That's the second number question I get. The first question is, why not run for the Royal? And the answer to that is because it's a horse show, and we love it, but it's a horse show. Agribition is the pinnacle. If you're a cattle person, which I am, it is the place where you want to be. So last year we were fortunate to have Bull Calf Angus Champion and Reserve Yearling Hereford. My kids are all focused in junior programs and competing in North America and Canada. So the question is, why? And the answer is, it's about I guess the answer is giving back to ag, and my technology experience and my home hardware board experience really gives me the opportunity. Agribition's bigger than Regina, it's bigger than Saskatchewan, it's international, and it's a business. And you know, from my perspective, it's about giving back to the industry so that it's here for the next generation and generation after that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Okay, so that concludes our nominated director speeches and presentations. So the next order of business is we have Meyer Norris Penny still with us here. Christy didn't leave, so that's great after the auditor report, so you guys didn't scare her away. So I would like to entertain a motion to approve MNP LLP as our ballot counters for the election. Jack Hextall and Levi Jackson seconds it. Any further discussion on that or process? Okay, seeing none. All in favor? Okay, we'll just wait for the online voting to come in on that. It's in progress, so we just have to go with this. So all good. So so that's carried, that motion. So we'll have MMP come up, I guess, and do the ballot counting. So a little bit of the rules on this. So we're going to have the election now for the directors. We have to have 5 names on the ballot that you submit to vote. If it's less than that, then they'll be declared a spoiled ballot. The online voting for the directors is on now, and we'll start handing out ballots, I believe. Or are they out there already? Maybe I should ask. Oh, I'm getting instructions from the back there, so. Oh, okay, so that's after voting.
Nope, now.
Oh, you got to hold the ballot up so that you get the voting card. I'll slowly get it. It's only my first time doing this, so next year I'll be a seasoned veteran. Yeah, so just remember to put 5 names on that ballot. Yeah, can we get the names back up on there? question is, do I seal it or not? Did you buy good envelopes, or am I going to like get poisoned? All right. You guys have better buy good quality envelopes so I don't die. Online, so this doesn't apply to you guys in the room. Just a 1-minute warning to get the votes in for the online voting. Online is closed. Okay, so online voting is closed. And all the in-room ballots have been presented to the MMP before they get too far along here. Okay, so in-person is closed as well. Yeah, so it goes out online. Okay, so MMP has asked us just to break for 10 minutes. So we'll call everybody back in 10 minutes. So Okay, if I just get everybody to just back to your seats, we have the results from the director election. So I'd just like to congratulate, in no particular order, Kelly Howe, Courtney McDougall, Graham McClellan, Carl Sauter, and Ian McNaughton. So congratulations and welcome to the board of the Canadian Western Agribition. The next motion I'd like to entertain is just a motion to destroy the ballots. Helgi Bai, Graham McClellan. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, now we're just going to wait for the online part here. Okay, we're all good. Okay, carried. The motion's carried, so we'll motion to destroy the ballots was passed. Okay, now just moving on to any other business rising from the minutes or just from the floor. Okay, seeing none, and then I guess is there questions from the floor? This is a pretty quiet group. Yes. Yeah. So the question was, is this broadcast online for even, I guess, folks that aren't technically members of Agribition? So yeah, it is available to anybody, but the voting is only for those who are vetted member or been through the process and vetted on that. So, okay. Any other questions? I think I'm holding you guys up from social hour here, so I probably should get moving along here, I guess. Okay, just the second last motion. Just need a motion to ratify the actions of the 2024-2025 Board of Directors. Oh, Bruce Holmquist and Courtney. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay. Any opposed in the room, by the way? I should have been asking that maybe as we went along here. Okay, we're just waiting for the online voting to conclude here, so. Maybe a question I have for you guys, and while we're just waiting for the online voting, maybe this is not fair because you guys actually are in the room. What does the membership feel about the online voting? Like, is that a service you want us to continue with? You want us to reevaluate that? Does it, just thoughts? Feel free to blurt it out. We're just waiting here, so. Okay. Okay. Yep. Bruce in the back. Okay. Yeah. So Glenn, you had your hand up, and then I'll maybe address those two. 13. One. Oh, how many are on now? There was 13 at the start of the meeting, but we've got more on now. So. But the two comments from Bruce and Chris were that now that we have it, we probably need to continue with it. It does slow up the meeting a little bit, but to Bruce's comment, like if there's a snowstorm, which we just saw before this year, 3 consecutive years of blizzards were pretty unsafe to travel for a lot of folks coming from any distance. It's a great option to have. So, but I know, appreciate the feedback from the group. And
28 at the election.
There was 28 as of the election time. So we gained a few people throughout the meeting. So, Levi? Okay, so I heard the dinging here. Were you trying to get Levi to be quiet, or was that like just an accident? So I think it was just an accident, or they bumped it. Yeah, but I like the feedback is important because the membership is who uses this, right? Like, and we do utilize online and virtual meetings as a board of directors. Like, one, it's cost effective, it saves people a lot of driving. So it is important on that. And then, but we just want to make sure when we get into these meetings that, you know, because it does take a little longer to wait for that. But that's just want to get the lay of the land, like what everybody's thinking. Cynthia, and then Courtney. Yeah, so the comment there was just if we want to grow the membership and diversify outside of Saskatchewan, which I think is kind of something we've talked about quite a bit, the online voting is very important for that, right? Like, even a lot of our corporate members are not based in Regina, right? So if you're looking at cost for flights to attend, to participate in what we're doing, to get the reports, it is a good option on that, to do that. So, but we also didn't want to take away from those who made the effort to travel to be here today in person either, right? So it's kind of that balance. But no, I appreciate the feedback, and if there's other comments afterwards, happy to hear it. Oh, Courtney, yeah, you got the floor. Are we good on that? Yeah, 100%, Courtney. So yeah, thank you for that. I hope everybody's able to hear Courtney there. I think so. Okay, so the online has come in. I know we got a little distracted there, but that last motion was carried to ratify the actions of the 2024-2025 Board of Directors. So just before we get into adjournment, just immediately after this meeting, maybe we'll give them 5 minutes to get set up, but we do have the AGM for the Agribition Community Foundation. Like it said in my president's report, this is an important piece of what we put together. So please stay around. We'll have Candice Vi as the chair. We'll come up with them, and so please stay for that. Don't disappear. And then following that meeting, we're going to have the board of directors will, I think we're going to meet upstairs for a brief meeting, tradition to select the executive president, vice president, and the directors at large. So we'll have that, and then we'll be back down for that, but there'll be social hour while that's taking place. So you guys will be in good hands while that's going on. So I guess I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. So we got Brian Hadlin made the motion, and then Mona Taylor second it. All in favor? Any opposed? And yeah, we'll declare that passed. So thank you, everybody. And yeah, please stick around for the Agribition Community Foundation annual meeting.
afternoon. No? Let's try again. Good afternoon. Oh, there we go. I don't want to lose anybody, and we're going to go quickly, so if you could just bear with us. I wanted to let you know that as a voting member of Canadian Western Agribition, you are also a voting member of the Agribition Community Foundation, and we will be using these voting cards. So if you're wondering if you have a vote, if you have one of these, you're in. Do you think everybody got what they need?
I imagine so.
So I would like to call the annual general meeting to order. And you have the agenda in front of you, I believe. So I would take a motion to approve the agenda. Todd Andres, second by Bill Gray. Any discussion or additions to that agenda before we vote? All in favor? Opposed? And I've been informed we're also doing this online thing. Is that right? Oh, so we're in voting process right now. Okay. Are there many on? Carried. Thank you. Minutes of the last AGM. They have been circulated, and we have some changes we would like to make in the election of a directors. There are supposed to be Bill Gray for a 3-year term, Mark Mulatz for a 3-year term, Bryce Thompson for a 3-year term, Todd Andres for a 2-year term, Marty Seymour for a 2-year term, Clay Clemmer for a 2-year term, and myself for a 1-year term. The names were just listed in the minutes last year without the terms being there, so we would like to clarify that. Are there any other errors or omissions in those minutes? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to accept those amendments. Kelly Howe, second. Todd Andre Fagno. All in favor? Opposed? Waiting for online. I wonder if there are enough online to make a difference.
Probably not, but there's only.
Carried. And message from the chair. Well, it's been quite an exciting year for Agribition Community Foundation. We're a relatively new board. There were 4 of us that were on the scholarship fund, and we added 3 more members to our board, and it's been a busy year. We still administer the scholarship fund, and that's a very serious part of the job. We managed the 50-50 lottery during Agribition this year, and that was a huge undertaking and a very big learning process for all of us. We had a subcommittee that handled the details. Todd Andres handled the work with SLGA. Bryce handled our volunteers and the Regina Food Bank. Andre Fagno was our pit boss and handled all the volunteers and the cashing in and cashing out every day, all day. He was terrific. And we want to thank our sponsors for that, Young's Equipment and Highline. They supported us. And a phenomenal amount of work went into a service agreement between Agribition and the foundation, and I want to thank the board for persevering through a really long meeting to come up with that agreement to present to the CWA board and executive. And I just want to introduce the board because many of you probably don't know some of these guys. Thank you to Mark Mulatz. Would you stand up? Bill Gray, Todd Andries, Marty Seymour, who couldn't be here today, Craig Clemmer, Andre Fagno, Levi Jackson, and Bryce Thompson. They were excellent, responsive group, and I enjoyed working with them very much this year. I also want to thank my boss for giving me the time to work at this capacity. I appreciate it. It was an honor to serve. So we have financial statements. Bryce Thompson's going to present them.
Thanks, Candace. I guess I get the fun part of talking about the money that the foundation has. Just in the annual package, there is a breakdown of the financials, so you can definitely look at it there. But just to give a little more transparency than it has in it, we wanted to give a breakdown of the cash assets that the foundation has. As you can see on the balance sheet, we're sitting with about $129,000. But that's broken down into the scholarship fund and the money raised from the 50-50. Of that $129,000, about $62,000 of it is in the scholarship fund. Of that $62,000, about $40,000 of it is in restricted funds that are from the Farley and Andrew trusts or donations that support those scholarships. So we've got about $22,000 that are unrestricted Agribition Scholarship Fund money. And we will definitely use that and support it and keep it up so that we can maintain the scholarship fund and what Agribition's done in the past on that front. And then the other $67,000 is in the 50-50 fund. Of that, about $34,000 of it is committed to the Regina Food Bank. In this first year of CWA giving ACF the opportunity to carry out the 50-50, we partnered with Regina Food Bank largely for the labor component of pulling off the 50-50, and we made that commitment to them. Once SLGA approves that donation, then we'll be able to move that money over to them. The other $30,000 that we have remaining will largely be used to donate and further Agribition's community involvement over the next year. We also need to set up an operating fund so that that ACF's administrative expenses and that aren't coming from one of those two places that we have that budgeted for and handled separately. So we are expecting a grant from SLGA, probably in the range of $10,000 for a program they have that basically helps augment the money raised from the 50-50, and part of that money will get used to start setting up an operating fund so that we are in a healthy, good place, stronger next year than we are even right now, so that we can build that base to start to transition from being a scholarship organization to doing a lot greater good for Agribition and Agribition's community members, and yeah. So anyway, with that, if anybody does have any questions deeper into the financials, feel free to, I'll be around for the evening and everything. Feel free to ask, or in the future, I think we're really proud of our start on this transition from being a scholarship fund to something bigger. And one of the big things of that is making sure that we're fully transparent with our membership on where that money is coming from, where it's going to, what expenses we have. So any questions you have, don't ever be afraid to ask. So thank you.
Does anyone have questions for Bryce about the financials? Okay. Do you want to, we'll motion to appoint auditors for next year?
Should I make the motion?
Yep.
I'll make the motion.
Bryce Thompson and Mark Mulatz to appoint MNP as our auditors for next year. All in favor? Opposed? Online vote in progress. While we're waiting for that, I would just like to go over the election procedure. We have 2 openings. My term is up and I'm not seeking re-election, and the ACF board has nominated Andre Fagno. He's been on the board this past year, and we have 1 more opening. So I will continue with first call for nominations while we wait for that vote. First call for nominations, Todd? Todd Andres nominates Bruce Holmquist. Okay, and that motion for the auditors is carried. Okay, let's go into the bylaw amendments. The first one is on the mission statement. We are replacing the old mission statement with the Agribition Community Foundation raises and distributes funds to advance the growth and betterment of individuals and communities that contribute to advancing Canadian agriculture ecosystem. You will have the bylaws within your annual report, so you can follow along on this. These are basically housekeeping changes, mostly. Number 3, the mandate. We're replacing all 4 of those paragraphs with promote Canadian agriculture through support to individuals, organizations, and industries that support the Canadian agriculture ecosystem. Execute a fair and equitable adjudication and selection process for applicants and recipients. Ensure that the ACF is adequately funded through donations, bequests, grants, and fundraising activities. Fundraising activities will be consistent with the ACF's core values and in compliance with any regulatory bodies that require approval. Too many papers. The next one, we're just going to handle these all at once unless someone has a specific question about one. If you go to 16B in the bylaws, we had a request. Oh, this one deals with the terms. Last year we had this set up for the board to have 2-year terms, 3-year terms, and 1-year terms for the first year of election, so not everyone came due at the same time. 16B, we are changing to read, at the annual meeting, directors will be elected for 3-year terms, and number elected will be in line with the vacancies. So that just cleans it up from here on in. We're deleting numbers 1, 2, and 3, and on number 4 will become number 2, and we're changing it to the board may nominate a slate of directors. No, that's not right. Number 4 changes to the CWA Board of Directors has 1 protected seat and shall always make up one of the ACF board. This comes from the Agribition board. It used to be the vice president had the seat on the board, and they've decided that it would be a good idea if, for continuity, if we had a CWA board member that was actually interested in the work of the foundation and it not necessarily be the vice president. So it came from them, and we thought, sure, we can go along with that. And with the same change, number 21 needs to be updated. CWA Board of Directors has one protected seat and shall have an automatic voting. Just takes the vice president out of that. And on 16D, we are changing that to read chairperson, the chairperson to be elected annually by the board to a maximum of 3 terms. Those are the changes we are proposing. If I could have someone, yes, Mark Mulatz, thank you, moves those. Someone to second them, and then I'll open the floor. Levi Jackson, open the floor for discussion. Questions about those changes? Yes, 3 one-year terms is the question about the chair. It's not a 3-year term. Anything else? All in favor? Opposed? I will assume we will wait for the voting. While we're waiting, second call for nominations. And that amendment is carried. Third call for nominations. Bill Gray moves nominations cease. With that, I guess we don't have an election, and we welcome Bruce Holmquist to the team, and Andre is back on. Wonderful. I would accept a motion to ratify the actions of the board. Andre Fagno, seconded by Audrey Horkoff. All in favor? Opposed? While we're waiting for that vote, does anyone have new business or something they would like to discuss from the floor?
Just on behalf of the rest of the ACF board, I'd like to say a thank you to Candace. With her stepping down at the end of this meeting, just want to acknowledge all of her efforts over the last year plus to her energy and passion really pushed this project ahead and made a big difference. So just would like to say thank you to her.
And that passed. So any other discussion from the floor? It gives me great honor to introduce your new chairperson of Agribition Community Foundation. It's Bryce Thompson. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Todd Andrews. Thank you very much.
Is it? If we could just have the CWA Board of Directors just meet upstairs for our after AGM meeting to select the executive. And then we'll be back down shortly.